Alright, Chapter 16, testing. Chapter 16, Cathodic Protection. Practical Guide for Pipeline Construction Inspectors. Alright, overview. Cathodic protection is a technique used for the control of the corrosion pipeline melts for making the pipeline cathode of an electrical chemical cell. With the other words, cathodic protection is a simple method of protection pipeline connect with the more easily corroded sacrificial metal with the magnesium which acts on the anode, the sacrificial metal with the corrosion instead of the pipeline. However, the long pipe that passes with galvanic cathodic protection is not adequate, and in the external direct current electrical power source rectifier can be used to provide additional electrical current to protect the pipe. As part of the cathodic protection system, test station required the taking readings on periodic basis. The typical test station is installed with an interval of 2 or 3 kilometers, not to exceed 5 kilometers. Cathodic test leads, sacrificial anodes, negative drain leads with ground bed cables are some of the more components that are installed by the station, complete with a cathodic protection system. Inspector concerns should be directed not only toward the new installation of the existing third-party buried facility with a cathodic protection system, or as potential during the excavation. Alright, your inputs are preparing parts preparing inspection during the cathodic protection acts will continually familiarize themselves with relevant aspects of key documents, drawing owner company technical specifications identified table 125. Execution. While working with being executed, the inspector required with the minor workmanship report progress with the periodic basis. Table items inspector will monitor during the cathodic protection process identified series checklist detailed in table 124. Alright, table 124, prior to commencing the work, on a daily basis, ensure the key issue is identified in detail with address, safely monitor operations adhering to the relevant owner company project specific safety requirements and environmental consideration. Identify specific items of the monitor of the cathodic protection operation relate specifically to the owner company and the project specific environmental protection plan. Cathodic protection monitors installation, cathodic protection safely as well with adherence for the owner company specification, particularly incorporate with consideration along cathodic protection test stations such as easy accessible proposed installation location, existing lens lines, use existing facilities, valve with a scraper type trap locations, landowner restrictions, cathodic protection, third-party pipeline construction crossings, any sufficient communication third-party pipeline owners. The facility requirement crossing agreement is made in a safe, efficient manner. Or 16.4 outputs. Inspector required to report workmanship progress with a periodic basis. The component various reports on each work day. End of the week report requirements reporting process for the owner company with the project specific guide with the best practice with reporting requirements for cathodic protection and prayer in table 131. Her typical input requirements cathodic protection inspection table 125 information requirements within cathodic protection. All design drawing specifications developed owner company contractor related with cathodic protection such as access road line drawings, line list, cathodic protection installation specification, cathodic protection testing specification, third party utility location, cathodic protections and connections are required, location type of the ground beds, analyze contractors agreement related with the road use crossing of the buried facility crossing agreement, the cathodic protection installation construction survey permits related to environmental and road use owner company specific safety plan include but not limited to traffic control plan requirement of personal protective equipment, emergency medical service to the project, specific environmental protection plan, detailed cathodic protection requirements, other project specific plan which may include cathodic protection installation, fire prevention, firefighting. Alright, table 126, prior to commencement of the work, participate in daily meetings to address the cathodic protection requirement, the owner, company specification, job safety, hazard identification, issue with environmental concern, the duties of the inspector, pipeline contractor, tailgate meetings as required, ad hoc meeting with the contractor to discuss, clarify questions of concern. Table 127, the safety concern with the cathodic protection, confirm manufacturer installation instructions are filed with the use of the thermite devices. Table 128, typical monitoring requirements, environmental consideration, no incremental environmental consideration beyond the identified Chapter 6 pipeline construction inspector fundamental information. Alright, table 129, typical requirements of the cathodic protection installation. If possible, ensure that the installation cathodic testing station nearest existing road to ease the accessibility during subsequent periodic testing locations specified project drawing. From existing rectifiers are shut down in areas where existing pipe maintenance programs are underway. Access needs. Ensure test leads are backfilled carefully to avoid breaking wire into wire to pipe connections to avoid burying lead wires before connection junction box are completely confirmed. Both ends of the duty leading over the junction box are reamed out to remove any of the burrs that may cover the short lead and test lead wires. Ensure test leads tested electrically are backfilled. Confirm wire pipe connections have not been broken. Confirm test lead continuities are installed along the manner with the owner company specification, typically with the right of the center line of the pipe with the facing downstream in the direction of the gas flow. Our table 130, typical monitoring requirements of the cathodic protection type third-party pipeline crossings. Ensure the third-party pipeline company is notified of the prior aim of the work near pipeline. Typical representative of the third-party pipeline company is present, observe that they themselves conduct the work. Ensure the work is undertaken with the vicinity of the third-party pipeline company's cathodic protection system. Adhere with the requirements identified with the crossing third-party owner company specification. Confirm existing ground cable to connect the third-party buried facilities disconnected, moved out of harm's way during construction, and however ensure that the ultimate current interference mitigation concerns are addressed. After daylight, third-party pipeline ensure the coating is examined to determine the type of the condition, possible damage, and notify the third-party pipeline out of damage is found. The third-party pipeline crossing the end of the cathodic protection readings is taken. Existing test leave of the third-party pipeline, either the pipe to soil reading of the coating has been damaged. The reading of the nearest third-party pipeline testing station. Third-party pipeline coating is never punctured to take a pipe to soil reading. Ensure test leads are attached to the third-party pipeline. Third-party pipeline company represents will be present to perform work themselves unless otherwise agreed upon. Confirm third-party pipeline crossing test leads are installed at a line crossing, and confirm all test stations are installed to close the pipeline crossing as possible. Alright, your typical output cathodic protection inspection, typical 131, typical requirements, general cathodic protection installation testing station report, include number of test stations, installation test station survey numbers, continuing test result, upon backfilling, ensure test leads have not been broken. Complete third-party pipeline crossing report, survey station number, the crossing name of the third-party pipeline company, piping size and type of the condition of the coating, clearance above the below the pipeline, distance near third-party rectifier, output of the third-party rectifier pipe, and soil readings and crossing test leads, install the size, color, wire, description of its location, township, range, selection, section, landowner, traction number of the alignment sheet, schedule of the pipeline crossing showing available landmarks. Daily, there are no incremental specific reports beyond the identified in Chapter 6, Pipeline Construction Inspector Fundamental Information. Our references, cathodic protection. Note, references information provided in Table 132 and 10 for the guide only. This is not exhaustive. The documents and nature of the update frequently the remains responsible used to ensure that the correction and most current documents are references appropriate. You have your Canadian Gas Association OCC 1 recommended practice control external corrosion buried submerged medical piping system. And your NACE International SP0169 standard piping practice for controlling external control underground submerged metallic piping system. SP0177 the standard practice mitigation alternating current lighting effects of metal structure corrosion control. SP0188 standard practice discontinuity test negative new protective coatings and conductive substrates. Chapter 7 Hydrostatic Testing. 17. Hydrostatic testing.